Welcome to PSP Projects Limited Q4FY20 earnings conference call hosted by Asian Market Securities Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Ambar Singhania from Asian Market Securities. Thank you, and over to Mr. Singhania.
Thank you, Neera. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Asian Market Securities, I welcome you all for Q4FY20 earnings conference call for PSP Projects Limited. We have with us today Mr. P.S. Patel, MD and Promoter, Mr. Hetal Patel, CFO, along with their team from the company side. We would like to start with a brief update about the company and the results from the company side, and then we'll proceed with the question and answer session. I now request Mr. Patel to take us through the quarterly results and thoughts about the company and the sector, and then we can move to the question and answer session after that. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Amar. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is P.S. Patel, Chairman, Managing Director and CEO of PSP Projects Limited, along with Ms. Hetal Patel, CFO. Welcome you all to this earnings conference call, which is focusing on our company's performance in Q4 FY 2020 and probably FY 20 also, I would say. First of all, hope you all are safe at your place and do take care of yourself because of this COVID-19, which is very pandemic in all over India. Before we move to the financial statistics and performance of last quarter and financial year, I would like to throw light on a few of the key developments of this quarter and the year. We are pleased to inform you that the company has booked the highest ever revenue from operations, that is 1499, which is almost 1500 crore, and a net profit of 129.13 on stand-alone basis. We have a 44% year-on-year growth in revenue and 43% in tax. I am glad to share you that about 90% of the turnover is booked from the industrial and institutional projects where our business model fits the base. So this year industrial was 12% and institutional was 78%. Our revenue from operation is particularly Q4 FY20 is 456.40, which was ₹338.26 Q4 FY19. This is an increment of 35%. In Q4, especially you must have noticed that is 7.36 in Q4 FY20 compared to 8.74% in Q4 FY19. This decrease in PAT is attributed to two major reasons. As you know that we had a labor shortage for about 10 days ahead after the Holi festival. In FY19, the Holi was on 20th March, basically ending of March, whereas it was on 9th March this year, which was like beginning of the month. So there were completely less count of laborers from beginning of the March only, and by the time they returned, the lockdown started. So last 10 days were again non-working situation. So these non-working days and non-availability of adequate workers are one of the reasons which has impacted in Q4 tax. Another reason is the milestone-wise payment. Our big ticket size projects like IIM Ahmedabad, Chandapur Affordable Housing and Kashi Vishwanath Development at Varanasi are on 20 basis and the payments are on milestone basis. Due to the above mentioned reasons, we could reach to targeted milestone where we can bill to the client. This incremented our operational cost significantly. Company had tax order of rupees 78 crore this financial year. The major projects awarded in this year includes one second project of affordable housing in Maharashtra with order amount of 601 crore. Now we have presence in 7 cities with our very first and prestigious project in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh, development of the Kashi Vishwanath Dham and its beautification amounting to rupees 339 crore. We are awarded to construct the largest mall in the Gujarat, that is Phoenix Mall. The industrial sector, we are awarded contract by leading FMCG company to construct a noodle plant in Anand. After successful completion of Vidhan Sabha interior work of 150 crore last year, we are engaged in one more marquee interior project by Gandhinagar Railway and Urban Development Corporation, Garud, for the interior works of Leela Hotel at Gandhinagar Railway Station having contract value of ₹39 crore. This is first project in India where they are developing a 5-star hotel over a railway station. We successfully completed 23 projects this year, which is highest ever project completed in a single year. With this number of total project completed by us till 31st March 2020 is 143. The major completed project this year includes 2 more projects in GIFT City, that is Pristec, Prestige, Fintech and Grand Mercury Hotel Brigade Group at GIFT City. In these all projects except the BSC buildings are all projects except the building BSC buildings are completed by us inside the GIFT City. We have successfully completed corporate house of one of our prestigious clients, Zydus Kerala Group. In the industrial sector, we completed our first industrial project, which was on EPC mode from for finished healthcare. Our first project in Karnataka, that is Amul Dairy, was handed over to client this year. So adding fresh orders of FY20 plus carry forward orders from previous year and deducting the revenue book from the current ongoing projects, company holds a robust order book of rupees 3073 crore as on 31st March 2020, including 47 projects under execution spread in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Karnataka and Maharashtra and UP. Again, this number of work on hand as on year end is also highest in the company's history. So major projects contributing this order book are Surat Diamond Book contributes to 618 crore out of 1575. TWS Housing Project at Bhiwandi 601 crore. RNC Kasi Project is 333 crore. IIM Ahmedabad outstanding is 270 crore. And Pandharpur Affordable Housing Project 142 crore. Now, I'll talk something about the COVID effect which has impacted the company. Now, outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic globally in India, followed by the nationwide lockdown, has caused significant disturbance and slowdown of economic activity, with construction being one of the most affected sectors. In view of the sudden lockdown, the site operations were closed from the last week of March this year. Subsequently, with the release of the notification and guidelines issued by the government, workers was resumed at some of the sites upon receipt of approval from concerned authorities. However, after the movement of interstate migrant laborers to their native places amid COVID-19 induced the situation, the available laborers have been deployed at major project sites for the optimum utilization and are presently work at a reduced labor strength of about 20 to 25%. Further, there is also a constraint on material availability during that time. The overall situation has impacted the timelines of some of our projects and will further also impact the sales and profitability of the company for the first half of FY21 at least. The company is taking various steps to restore the adequate labor strength and the relaxation in the lockdown from June 1st, 2020. We see a positive sign wherein labor have started returning back to the work, which is a positive development and towards normalcy. We were able to mobilize about 600 to 650 laborers in last week from Gujarat, Rajasthan and MP. Also, in coordination with associations, we have requested to government to arrange the trains from UP, Bihar and Jharkhand also, as they are also calling us to come back and start the work, so that the remobilization process can be expedited. We are believing that by the end of June, we will have about 70 to 80% labor strength back on projects, provided the sentiment remains positive day by day. I would like to share project update on Surat Diamond Boost. As you all know that now about more than 900 crore of work we have completed, and just because of this COVID, there will be an impact of about 1 or 2 months on the total timeline of the project. But considering March 2021 was the extended timeline, and we were targeting to complete the project by December 20, we still hope that we should be able to complete the project in regular timeline as extended by Surat Diamond Boost. Most of the structure is almost completed. We have already completed 5 towers in terms of facade. We have already completed 5 towers in terms of flooring. We have almost completed about 60% of the elevators to be installed at site. We have already completed almost the major part of the compound wall. We have also completed all the podium as far as green soft work is to be done by the client. So this is all about Surat Diamond Boost. Company's average ticket size of receipt of project award is increasing year by year. The figure for this year is 81.82 crore in FY20 compared to 42.91 crore in FY19. Looking to the present scenario, we are not expecting too many tenders to come in near future, but still we hope we can get some of the opportunity, and out of that bid book, present status we have a bid book of 713 crore, which includes Welspun warehouses of 200 crore, Torrent House of 100 crore, Reliance warehouse of 100 crore, Brigade Hyderabad, a commercial building of 300 crore, and of course GID6 work where we have stood L1, but the government has yet not kept the tender, so we still consider that as the tender is ongoing. So these were the key highlights from my side. For detailed financial disclosures, I will request our CFO, Mrs. Hesal Patel, to take it forward. Thank you everyone to be a part of this work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone on the call, and welcome you on the call. Let me first give you highlight of standalone financial results for the quarter ended on 31st March 20. Sir, I've already mentioned about the quarter 4 revenue of 456 crores. We'll brief you about the Surat project numbers during the financial year ended on 31st March 20. Out of quarter ended quarterly revenue of 456 crores, Surat project has been executed to the extent of 169 crores. Accumulated revenue from Surat project till March 20 was 957 crores. And we can say that almost 61% of the total project value was completed by March 20. For the whole year of FY20, Surat project execution was 542 crores out of the total revenue of 1,499 crores. EBITDA for the quarter 4 is rupees 50.52 crores. There is no significant increase on YOY basis. EBITDA margin has reduced to 11.14% compared to previous quarter EBITDA of rupees 54 crores. Profit after tax, including other comprehensive income for the quarter, is rupees 34.15 crores, which has increased on YOY basis by 14%, which was rupees 30 crores in fourth quarter of previous year. Tax margin stood at 7.36% for quarter FY20, quarter 4 of FY20, and 8.47% for the year ended on 31st March 20. Total comprehensive income for the year has increased from 90.22 crores to 129.13 crores with a growth rate of 43%. As on 31st March 20, the company has a total fixed deposit of 237 crores, out of which 3 deposits of rupees 51 crores, F3 worth rupees 171 crores was under lien with banks for credit facilities, and FD given to clients to as a security deposit amounts to rupees 15 crores. We'll also brief you about working capital days on consolidated basis. Debtor days has reached to 57 days. Payable days are 53 and inventory days are 24. We'll brief you about work on hand. As sir has already informed you, 3,073 crore is total work on hand on 31st March 20, which comprises of 618 crores for Surat Devanbut project and rupees 2,455 crores for other projects. With this, I end up giving key highlights of the company's financial performance, and now we are open for the question answer session. So request the moderator to take it forward.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. First question is from the line of Shravan Shah from Dolat Capital Markets. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. Sir, before asking question, just to clarify, you said the Surat now COD would be March 21 versus earlier our expectation of December 20.
Yeah.
Okay. And second, sir, is it possible to repeat the, I think, 730 crore pipeline that you said in terms of the project wise?
Okay, I'll see you. The Welspun warehouse project in Mumbai at Bhiwandi, 200 crore. Current house in Ahmedabad, which is 100 crore. Reliance warehousing project of 100 crore. Brigade Hyderabad, it's a commercial project from Brigade Group, it is 300 crore. And GIDC L1, we have already been declared L1, but the project you get not closed from the government side is 275 crore.
Okay. And sir, one more clarification. This year, FY20, it has been the order inflow is 1892 crore.
1578 inflow of order book for this year till March 20 is 1578 crore.
1578. So does this not include the Kashi Vishwanath?
That includes the Kashi Vishwanath.
Okay. So now, as you said that we are having a labor shop around 20%, and now labor have started coming back, and we expect 70-80% labor by end of June. So just wanted to understand what initiatives are we taking to make sure, and this is what when we are saying 70-80%, this is across all the projects, or it is just 4-5 major projects that we are saying would be a 70-80% by June 18, by June, and we will be having a labor of 70-80%.
See, there are 2 points in it. Labor from Madhya Pradesh, within Gujarat and Rajasthan, they can easily come back to Gujarat. Now the major question is from UP, Bihar, Bengal and Orissa and West Bengal. These states are ready to come back. These laborers want to come back, but still they are not having that facility of train which they were given by government while going back to their home. So presently they are having only 2 coaches. So in all these, everybody wants to come back, but the general coaches, they are not allowing anybody to stand because of the social distancing. So easy availability, presently the availability of transport facility coming back to Gujarat is not so easy. So we already requested some of the government departments through some of the associations that if they can start coming train again back to from interstate coming train, then I think we would be able to reach to 70-80% by June end at the company level.
Okay. Sir, I understand it's very difficult to give any kind of a guidance, but just trying to understand on the let's assume the April was definitely a lockdown and the extended May also. So considering this quarter 450, so monthly we were having a close to 150 crore revenue. So is it fair to assume that the first quarter, that is this June quarter, we would be having around close to 130 crore kind of a revenue, or is it fair to assume that that number would be, and also at the same time, if that is the case, then we can see the kind of a margin that we have seen drop 11%. Can we see even a single digit margin in the first quarter?
No, you have already answered my question.
Okay. Got it.
It's very difficult to presume as of now. So if you are not able to assume as an analyst, it is very difficult for me because I have to make it possible practically. So actually this is too early because we are still waiting for some of the things to happen. And this is something which is doesn't having any precedent. So we will wait till what is happening in the next 15-20 days, then we'll be able to give you some guidelines. So
No, I understand, but my question was because now in STB we will be doing a more high value ended work. So just trying to understand because before COVID we were having a 60 crore plus kind of a revenue per month in STB. So and now all the civil construction is over. So in that sense was trying to understand Is it possible?
When we talk about the first quarter, I am saying till June end, we will be able to reach to the 70 to 80% of strength based on the availability of labor coming back on time and availability of transport facility available to them. So today, as of now, we are having some labors about 1,000 or so at Surat, but it is not giving us that exact assumption that what are the activities which will go fast. So I would say it is too early. Please wait for some time. After 15 or 20 days, I will be able to give you some judgment.
Okay. And secondly, sir, in terms of the broadly, whatever the normally we have a cost escalation in most of the projects. So just trying to understand, except the fixed overheads, what other can affect or whatever the impact would be there in the first half of this year in terms of the margin. Broadly on the overall project level, are we able to sustain the 12 to 14% margin post the things gets normalized?
I think still it is also early cautious to answer till next month. But yes, you can say there won't be too much impact on the material part, as most of the sites we have, you know that it is on a pass-on rate for the material. But on the labor part, yes, there will be some impact, maybe because of the social distancing, labor getting less output or something based on the sanitization facilities which we have to create. So there will be a marginal expense on that ground. But today also we are not able to give that exact judgment till we complete 1 or 1.5 months.
Okay. And in terms of whatever the existing
Sorry to
order
interrupt you.
Okay.
I'm
No.
supposed to come back in the question queue for a follow-up question. Thank you. A request to all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. If time permits, please come back in the question queue for a follow-up question. Next question is from the line of Avinash Sharma from Spark Capital Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for taking my question. So first one, we're just trying to understand what is the moment possible in few specific projects of the order book that you gave? Can you give us some clarity? Which projects are outside Gujarat maybe has better execution levels possible?
See, outside Gujarat, we are having majorly 3 projects. One is at Pandharpur, second is at Bhiwandi, and third is at Varanasi. Varanasi, since the most of the labor are migrated from here to the UP state, so we are having sufficient labor today also to go on to with full dynamics on that project. About Pandharpur, still we are waiting for more labors to come. Bhiwandi, yes, we have got all the clearances of plant housing and environment clearance, but we are waiting for the labor to start because we have not started any of the activities, but we have 100% mobilized and ready to start the work as and when we get the maximum labor.
Oh, understand. Sir, another one is on the opportunity. Any tenders, large tenders in hand that we are expecting, which we can delay it for like 3 months, or what is the scene?
No, as of now I can't say on that part because we are just on the bid book line. So I am not able to give you an assurity what are these things which may happen out of this bid book.
Any reallocation, sir, of the budget, like any request that has come to slow down any project? Are we expecting such things from clients?
I couldn't get your question.
Okay, understand. That's it.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Pawan Aluwalia from Laburnum Capital Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking the question. 2 questions actually. First is, if I look at the working capital, obviously our accounts receivable have gone up by a lot in line with revenue. Our accounts payable have also gone up. Do we anticipate any change to our net current assets, our net working capital as a percentage of sales going forward? We've seen companies like L&T see this ratio considerably increase in the past quarter. So just curious if you have a perspective on how it's likely to evolve given what you're seeing. And the second question is, as I look at the order book of orders in hand, a significant portion of these orders come from the government or quasi-government. I don't know, Kashi Vishwanath, I'm guessing, is also kind of indirectly government. Are we worried about payment terms, working capital characteristics that are significantly worse in government-related businesses? And how should we think about what that implies for our capital requirement, ROEs, etc., going forward?
First of all, I will answer about the order book and about the working capital. Then will answer you. So regarding order book, and we don't feel any pressure in terms of order book having a government project. So all the projects are prestigious, and government will always like to maintain that repo to continue those projects with the same pace which they were doing before March. So as of now, whatever order book which are having, whether it is government or private, we are not going to face any problem in terms of getting the payments on time. It is just a question about how we resume and do the past phase which we were doing previously before March.
Sorry, just a follow-up on that, and just maybe just help us understand. As I understand it, government business is typically sort of an L1 business, right? So very often the terms people end up quoting are highly competitive terms. In the private sector, there's a greater tendency towards nomination basis or generally more stringent qualifying requirements because there's a greater willingness to pay up for quality and speed and things like that. Have we historically experienced the same payment terms with the government as we have with the private sector?
See, apart from mobilization advance, most of the terms are the same. As far as government is concerned, it is always a monthly basis payment. Only the difference between a private sector and a government sector is you are not being paid mobilization advance. So this is the only difference. And talking about the competition, if you will see all these three tenders, PSP usually quotes when the qualifying criteria are with stringent or tight. So all these three tenders, wherever we have got the job, it was a bidding between two or three contractors. So only there were two contractors to bid on time. Sundarpur also it was three contractors were bidding on time, and at Varanasi also only two contractors bidding on time. So this is the difference. So we do not enter into a bad competition when it comes to government work.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like to have an answer of the question?
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jason Sohn from Monarch Network Capital. Please go ahead.
So thanks for taking my question. Sir, I understand in this current scenario, you said that, it will take 15-20 days for understanding the labor situation properly. But still, from a long-term or probably a post-COVID kind of outlook, how do you see things panning out in terms of order book for your company?
See, actually, if you really can see our order book, which is outstanding as 3073 crore, even if we focus more on our project side and try to make up maximum revenue this year after this impact of 3 months, I think we'll be able to do a better job within this 3075. Now about the order book, since I had already told you it is an order book of 1713, which is a bid book. So that we are bidding, we are not going to go dynamically on this project till we strengthen ourselves in terms of operation by 6 months. So first 3 months have already gone, and next 3 months we have to gear up first on the project which we have already have, and then we should target on getting more and more jobs.
So how much is the bid book you said? What's the number?
What?
What's the bid book number?
Bid book number I have already said you 1713, 1713 crore.
1,700. Okay. Also, just one thing to confirm here, you said the labor shortage currently stands at 20 to 25%. Is that right? As of now? In your opening remarks?
Yeah,
20 to 25%. And you expect that if the transport thing works out, then you expect it to go to 70 to 80% by end of June. Oh, sure. Thanks. That's all from me.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Ravi Naredi from Naredi Investment. Please go ahead.
Hello, Pratap bhai. In this environment, you have given an excellent result, I can tell you in this way. And sir, thanks for that. Sir, other financial assets rises to 128.43 crore. So what is the details of same, sir?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Other financial assets rose to 128.43 crore.
Yeah.
So what is the details of that financial
Where you are saying it? You are saying the balance sheet?
Balance sheet item. It is on asset side and current assets. This other financial asset is 128.43 crore versus 49 crore in last year.
Okay. Yeah, this is mainly comprising of short-term retention receivable and unbilled revenue.
Unbilled
So
revenue.
it has increased. Yeah, unbilled revenue also we have accounted because majority of projects we have started. So new projects are there. So there are more number of projects with unbilled revenue, around 100 crores of revenue.
Okay. And second, Pratap bhai, this Surat Diamond project, we have extended the party has extended deadline to March 21. So is it possible to complete by March 21 now?
Presently, if things get positive by end of this month, I still have a positive view on that. We should be able to complete by March 21 if we are able to begin full-fledged operation in July.
Right. And the July, August will be the rainy season. Again, the work will be possible?
This project is almost out of foundation and is on the finishing stage. So monsoon doesn't impact too much on the projects which are now out of foundation. So it's a matter of a few days when the monsoon is on. Otherwise, the activity which is going on inside the building, it continues.
And due to slowdown, we will not face any problem in receiving the payment from Surat Diamond project?
See, we have been hearing slowdown of Surat Diamond merchants.
Right. That I knew because I am the shareholder since the inception of the company, so I knew it very well.
Yeah.
Just confirming.
Now at least when they have paid us more than 1,000 crore, I think we should trust them that this slowdown has not impacted too much on this project. And as I always say, the size of the offices, ticket size of the office is so small. Each individual have to pay more than 15 to 20 lakh per office. So I think that will not impact too much on our cash flow.
Definitely. These words are thank you for us. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A request to all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. If time permits, please come back in the question queue for a follow-up question. Next question is from the line of Prem Khurana from Anandati Shares and Stock Brokers. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, thank you for taking my questions. So 2 questions from my side. So one was essentially if you could help us understand what is the total exposure to Surat Diamond Board as of today, as in essentially in terms of how much is the receivable that is due from Surat Diamond Board and what is the mobilization advances and if any unbilled revenues that you would have booked towards that project, and what was the number last year?
See, last year numbers I do not have handy with me, but I can guide you about the receivables from Surat Diamond Board. The amount mentioned in the trade receivable does not contain any of the amounts from Surat because they have already paid the bill amount before 31st March. And actually we have advances that will be lying in the liability side. We have mobilization advance and we have some material advance also lying with us. So at least 50 crores of total advances are there currently from Surat Diamond Board.
And any unbilled revenues from Surat Diamond personnel?
Yeah, unbilled revenue, we are booking unbilled revenue. That's around the 25 to 30 crores of revenue we have booked. That's mainly against this MEP execution and all. So that mostly is billed again in the next coming months.
Sure. So if I were to understand correctly, net, I mean, it is as if they have almost around 25 odd crore rupees number available with us. I mean, mobilization of 50 and if adjusted for unbilled, we have 25 odd crore pending, which is available with us. Sure. And if you could also help me understand what exactly what is hampering Bhiwandi, because I know when we spoke the last time in the month of February Q3 con call, you said Bhiwandi is already mobilized and we've already started working, and when I look at the order backlog now, I mean there's no movement as such.
Bhiwandi project I had told you in the last result also in December that we have applied for EC and we were waiting for the EC. And EC I think we got just before the lockdown.
Okay.
So before we are getting TEC, we were just trying to mobilize. So we have already installed our labor colony, we have already installed our RMC plant, we have already ordered my one shuttering, and till we get the EC, we can't start any of the operation. But then when we got the EC, this lockdown came up. So just now we are waiting for the laborers to come back soon, and we start our operation.
Sure. And sir, pay to budget, and as far as all the projects that we have available with us, most of these would have cost overruns clause in place, because I mean, you don't have labor as of now, so which essentially means the project is delayed by some time. So there could be some change in the cost structure as well.
Government project doesn't cover any escalation part as far as government projects are concerned, and almost all the private projects, most of the basic materials like cement, steel, structure, steel, and flooring are a base rate item, so it is a pass-through. So only the government project we do not get that material escalation, but yes, for the other projects we are covered and safeguarded against rising material rates.
And given this, that the government projects don't have any escalation clause in place, are you still confident of the margin that you would have bid for with these projects at the time of bidding?
It's a matter of these 2 or 3 months overheads which we have incurred in the project. Rest of the things, as I earlier said, there will be an impact of some money on part of maintaining social distancing for 1 or 2 months, and that may give labor input less, so that may give some labor rise to some of the activities. And second is the health and sanitation facility which we have to provide the labor colonies and during the course of execution. That may cost us some too, but I don't see any large impact because of that.
Sure. Thank you. I have a few more. I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Rukun Tara Chandani from Kotak Mahindra Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. Just if you can give some more clarity on the increase in unbilled revenue as of 31st March. So which are these projects, or why has this amount increased considerably versus what it was, let's say, last year?
See, currently, whatever projects are included in the unbilled revenue, majority of the projects are milestone-based projects. I'll give you examples of like IIM project, and Pandharpur also is Varanasi project is also milestone project. So whatever work we have done, but the stage of billing has not arrived. So we are booking it as unbilled revenue, and within a month or so, once the billing stage has come, so that will be converted into normal revenue. And compared to previous year, number of such projects has increased, and volume is also on a higher side.
Okay. But as a percentage of revenues, do you expect this to normalize or come down in the future quarter?
No, because what will happen means it on quarter to quarter it will remain, execution will continue. So unbilled revenue will be on the similar state only, because the volume of the project is also higher. We can say Kashi Vishwanath 330 crores of project, and other high value projects are there. So this volume of unbilled revenue also will be on a higher side.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Jiten Doshi from Axis Capital Limited. Please.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Thank you for taking my question, and congratulations on the superb revenue, sir. So I have few questions in terms of retention and mobilization. Can you give me the outstanding retention, mobilization, advances, and gross debt as on date, sir?
Yeah, see, retention money we bifurcate based on the recoverability. Means if it is recoverable within 1 year, it will be in current financial assets. So that retention is around 6 crores, and the retention which is recoverable after 1 year, that is 60 crores of total retention which is recoverable after 1 year. Because new projects are being started, so that retention will be due once the project completion and that particular stage comes.
Got it. Mobilization and gross.
And regarding the mobilization advance, I'll just give you. Yeah, currently mobilization advance is 114 crore compared to previous figure of 135 crore.
And these are interest bearing, ma'am?
No, not interest bearing. Only one project is there.
Sorry. Okay. And gross debt, ma'am?
Gross debt.
Gross debt. Okay. We have utilized around 60 crores of working capital.
Mm-hmm.
That you can see in the borrowing.
And term loan?
Term loan will be around 5 crores.
Okay, so total gross debt is around 65 crores on March.
Yeah, 68 is the borrowing, working capital utilization, and 5 crores.
Okay, 68 plus 5. Okay.
8 plus 5, yes.
68. And ma'am, a few questions to sir. Sir, in terms of this, how many sites are operating out of the 47 sites as on date? And second question is on the payment terms. So, sir, as you said, you are executing projects which are the payments are based on milestone. But sir, in the current situation, we have seen that now the contractors are getting payments on monthly basis and not on milestone. So do we see any terms changing, or are we looking for any arrangement with our clients where we can get monthly basis payment on monthly and not milestone, which can improve our liquidity?
See, there are few things as government has already declared that most of the bank guarantees which contractor has submitted on performance guarantees, as then when the work is completed to some percentage, they are going to get released those bank guarantees and they will keep the bank guarantees for the remaining work. So that may help us to extend for some of the projects, and based on that government rule to imply on government projects, we have requested of some of our clients whose projects are completed more than 50% to release our bank guarantees so that we can at least get that 25% margin which is there to utilize as a working capital.
So my question was more on the execution part, where you have done execution of 100 rupees, but you will get only when you do 150 rupees. But if you do 100 rupees in a month, whether you will get those payment if you have discussed those with your client?
See, again, that depends on department to department. Milestone basis payment is always on a pro rata basis. But what type of activity going on which can be converted into pro rata, then they will pay it as a milestone divided to pro rata on a monthly basis. But when the milestone clicks on a regular some stage of work, and that stage of work is a single item, then they may not.
Okay, so in your order backlog.
Sorry to interrupt you.
I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you. Requesting all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. Next question is from the line of Dushan Mishra from Page One Investment Advisor.
Hi, my question is, number one, the construction expenses, what is entailed under these?
Sorry, we could not get the question.
My question was, in your profit and loss statement, there's construction expenses that have jumped quite a bit. First, what are the construction expenses?
Construction, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it has increased during the quarter. This due to the stage of execution of certain projects, because it's at the initial level, the excavation work and labor consumption is more. So for such projects, because of this reason, the expense has increased during this quarter.
Okay. And then the second one is, what is your cost, what is your interest rate on these loans? Because your finance cost is about 15 crores, and you said that your gross debt was about 73 crores.
Yeah, see, finance cost mainly will include working capital interest on working capital loan and bank guarantee charges also.
Right. So your interest rate that if you're availing these loans and working capital limits, that seems quite high.
Yeah, because see, bank guarantee also we have issued on a higher side because of the high volume of contracts also, that commission will increase.
Okay. All right, that's all I have. Thanks.
Yeah, bank guarantee commission we have paid around 4 crores.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Nitin Arora from Masters Mutual Fund. So go ahead.
Hi, sir. Just
Two questions. First is, I just want to understand why such an aggressive accounting being done on the revenue side, where such high amount of unbilled revenues being taken, when I think we were pretty certain after lockdown, post-28, that the cash realization would be difficult, which rather inflates your working capital, because cash generation to that revenue is minuscule. So just wanted to understand why such aggressive accounting being done on account of unbilled revenue, which is showing your revenue on a higher side. And the second question is just a database question. If you can give in the order book the share of fixed cost proportion of order book. That's my second question. Thank you.
See, it's not about booking the revenue aggressively. It is about the expense which is done for an activity. So when we are seeing the profit and loss statement of the books, we have to consider what is the stage of the work for which we have already paid to our subcontractors and vendors. So based on those subcontractors and vendors, whatever payment has been done, but since we are not able to book the bill because of the milestone pro rata business is not allowing, we have to book that unbilled revenue. So this is how it is as per the books which is required, and not on an aggressive basis we have thought. It is just a matter of coincidence that the last three projects Varanasi started just in January and the lockdown came. So most of the expenses which were incurred in those types of projects, we have to book that revenue. And it is as per the guidelines given by the auditor.
And this unbilled revenue will also include such billing which we have, for the bills which we have already submitted to the clients, but since the client accepts only GST bill, and until and unless the bill has been certified, they will not accept the bill. So we have to keep it as submitted bill, and that we are showing under unbilled revenue. So this type of billing are also there. So within maybe next 15 days or so, the bills are getting certified and will be converted into normal revenue.
Ma'am, I'll take your second part first. The unbilled revenue which doesn't get certified, as per India, it doesn't come in the revenue, right? You need to show in the receivable. You can't take it in revenue.
No. See, we have already raised the bill, right? We have already
raised it. It didn't get certified by the client, right?
We are not debiting it to the client, but we will be showing it as amount receivable from, if you see in the balance sheet note last year, we are showing it receivables from a customer. So it's the contract asset we are showing. So that will include from receivable against unbilled revenue.
And just my second question, how much of your order book is more on a fixed cost basis, where the escalations are not provided on the fixed part?
I don't have the perfect figure as of now. We'll come back to you. Out of this 53073, we haven't find out the perfect figure out of what are the fixed cost projects. We'll come back to you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Dhiren Shah from Capital. Please go ahead. Dhiren Shah?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Are you audible?
Yeah, good evening, sir, and congratulations for the good set of numbers. So my question is regarding particularly the order inflows. What kind of order inflow you are guiding for FY21? Because you have bidded for 1,700 crore, right?
Yeah.
So last year we have received around 1,578 crore. So any order inflow guidance for FY21?
Presently, we are not in position to give any guidance, but usually what happens, whatever revenue we generate, we usually try to maintain that much order book inflow for that year, so that the outstanding order book still remains for at least 1.5 years. So probably we are not able in a other position, we are not able to give you a perfect guideline, but it should match to minimum to what we are going to get the revenue.
Okay. And so we are L1 in around 730 crore order, right? L1?
No. It is 275 crores.
Pardon, sir?
275 crores.
L1 in 275 crores.
Yeah.
Okay. And sir, going ahead, because of this COVID, you may see, some kind of a slowdown in the private capex.
So our order book will turn towards government side, or do you feel, the institutional orders, the industrial order will continue to, come out in the system as it was there prior to the COVID?
Yeah, I think by COVID, there is no more development from the private side. It is not necessary that we move to the government side. Presently, we are having an order book of 3073 crore, which is more than sufficient for next year at least. So we should still be conservative and target on whatever better the project are, and we have to be selective in terms of getting the job. At the end of the day, getting an order is not more important. Execution is more important. So I would rather first try to concentrate on execution of the project for next 6 months, and then we'll target and think about the new order book which we should have.
And then lastly, in FY21...
Sorry to interrupt you. I'll request you to come back in the question queue for a follow-up question. Thank you. I request all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. Next question is from the line of Chintan Seth from Sameeksha Capital. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity, sir. Ma'am, I just want a clarification just a while back. The unbilled revenue, if you can provide the total unbilled revenue for the March ended 20. And if this, and you also mentioned that, the fixed price milestone-based projects, IMA and Varanasi and Pandharpur, we have not been able to book revenue, but expenses are sitting on our P&L. Is it the right understanding? If you can just clear that.
We have already booked revenue against this project, but see, the stage of project is such that we may not be able to expense out raise invoice for all types of expenses. So that will be a different situation. We have already started billing for this project, like Pandharpur and all.
Mm-hmm.
And regarding unbilled revenue, I have already mentioned it's around 110 crores. And so that will include this billing on milestone basis projects also, and such unbilled revenue which is against the submitted bill, which we have up now we have received the certified bill.
I will give you a very technical reason for this. If you consider Varanasi project, the first milestone is on up to plinth. If up to plinth is a very big activity. So below plinth, there is a major activity of piling, then comes the pile caves, then comes the column, then comes the filling, then comes the brickwork, and then comes the grid slab. So considering all these activities, sometimes the people are reluctant on seeing understanding the words which are written in the contract. So for Varanasi also, we have requested that them to pay on item rate basis, limited to whatever milestone is going to give it as a total revenue. So this depends on where the contract is going on. Most of the cases, when there is a milestone payment, the payments are made on pro rata basis of the activity which is going, limited to maximum which is allowed as the contract. But when there is a cases when officers are not clear about how to pay, and they stick to the sentence which is written in the contract, these types of things happen, and that's there how the unbilled revenue has to be booked based on the guidelines from the auditor.
Right. Okay. So this unbilled is booked in the revenue, and the expenses which we incurred is also sitting in the P&L. In terms of
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Any stress on the orders we have in terms of clients kind of deferring it or cancelling it or not moving because the stress we are seeing in the market overall?
As of now, we have not heard from any of our clients. Let us see for next 1 month what is that.
Okay. Sure, sir. I'll join back in queue. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Parikshit Kandapal from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi sir, congratulations on good set of numbers. Sir, जैसे आपने पहले बोला कि we are now in all the government projects typically we are having a milestone based payment. So and government being a client largely relies on the funding. They typically take funding from the developer's balance sheet. So is it right to assume that going ahead our working capital will see deterioration versus what we used to earlier? I mean, we have already seen that evidence that we used to be negative working capital, now we have become positive working capital. So with the focus more on government now and limited capex on the private side, is it right to assume that the working capital may deteriorate further from the current levels?
See, it will not deteriorate that the way, because see, as I said you, it is based on milestone, but it is always converted into pro rata basis. There are few plants when it is not converted into pro rata basis, so on those projects we may face those types of problems. But of course, you are right. In private sector, what is happening, the payments which you receive as an advance or against ad hoc payment, that's the only payment you are not receiving from the government. Otherwise, the bill once placed and approved, it is usually paid within 7 to 10.
Okay. And just on this non-fund based limits margin, so banks are asking us almost at as high as 25%. So have we seen any, because of the COVID and some relaxations being given by RBI for banks to reduce margins, so have we seen on incremental NFB limits, the margins have been coming down, the cash margins?
No, actually.
Presently, we have not heard that any of the banks are getting reduced their margins. It depends on the negotiation and the volume of bank guarantees which they are giving, and depends on the consortium call. So as of now, we haven't heard any call based on the COVID that they are going to reduce the margin.
Can you give a breakup of FDR, basically in the balance sheet, how much is the FDR and unutilized cash? Unencumbered cash, breakup of both.
Yeah, actually, I have already mentioned the total FDR is 237 crores, and out of which we have free FD of 51 crores. And 171 crore FD is against bank guarantee margin and CC and book bid facilities.
Okay. Because last month...
Sorry?
Okay. Yeah, 60 crores, you were saying something, ma'am. You just completed, please.
15 crore FD is given to the client as security deposit.
Okay. Okay, just, PSR, any update on that Central Vista project now? Looks like it seems to get a little bit delayed. I mean, what's your view on that?
I think I should not comment on that project today.
Okay.
Let us wait and know something will happen.
Okay, but it is still in the anvil. I mean, as of now,
Okay. There is nothing hold on that project, so it is going on. So let us wait and know how it is.
Okay, sir, sure. I'll join the queue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question is from the line of Shravan Shah from Dolat Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, what is the now fund-based and non-fund-based limit and what is unutilized? Last time it was 610 crore and unutilized was 175.
Yeah, see, currently bank guarantee we have utilized to the extent of around 400 crore and around 40 crores of book that we are utilizing.
Sorry. So out of total 610, how much is unutilized?
440 is utilized.
440 is utilizing total.
Okay, 440 is utilized. And secondly, on just to get a clarity, that we said that 100 crore is the unbilled revenue. So now how much would be? So this is as on March. So now have we received the payment out of that? And if possible, broader, how much would be the number of unbilled revenue, or how much we have received the payment against that?
Those unbilled revenues will be put in the bill now. So yes, some of the bills we have already paid in the month of April, based on the unbilled revenue what we did in March. And some of the bills will still be put once the site resumes. So it is an ongoing process. I think by June end it should be concluded for all the projects.
The project we have already billed.
The project we have already billed because the work was going on.
Okay, so we must have received that 25-30 crore for Surat. We must have received which was unbilled as on March.
So and the projects which are based on milestone, that's because that milestone the work has been closed in April. So if that milestone is not achieved, maybe by June once we regain this whole process, I think all the unbilled revenues has to be booked by June end quarter if we can start some operations before that.
Okay. And so just the thought process, whatever the existing order book right now we have, how much in terms of the capex that would be doing for this year? It would be 20-25 crore or?
For next year you are asking?
This FY21, this year, in terms of the capex.
Yeah, it is in the same range what we have been doing till now. We are usually land at 3 to 4% of the total revenue. But since our major capex at Surat is getting free, so whatever new projects we won't be requiring too much capex now. So you can say it will be in the range of 20 to 25 crores this year.
Okay. Thank you. And all the.
Thank you. A request to all the participants. Please restrict to one question per participant. If time permits, please come back in the question queue for a follow-up question. Next question is from the line of Sahil Chopra, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, my questions are.
Sahil Chopra, may I request you to go with the question, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. I said all my questions were answered. So thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Aditya Chokshi, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Sir, thank you for taking my question. Congratulations for good set of numbers. So I had a question, it's a bit far-sighted one. If you can just throw up some light on the revenue growth for this year, if everything falls in place from the July month.
I think still we are not clear about the projection for this year. We would like to see how these next 2 months move in terms of overall resuming the whole operation. So I think it's too early to give us the guidelines for the whole year.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Jiten Doshi from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my question. So I just wanted to know what is the fixed cost per month run rate, in terms of recurring fixed cost per month run rate. So just wanted to know that, and how many projects are operational as on date out of the 47 projects?
See, currently we are incurring around 2.5 to 3 crores of fixed cost, depending on the existing labor force and all. Though most of the laborers have returned to their home states. So to that extent, it will be lower. Yeah. And overheads will be ranging between 2 crores.
So in total, we have got 4 to 5 crores of fixed cost per month.
Yeah, right. Labor cost may reduce, so it will be.
Hello, ma'am. And how many sites are operational as on date out of 47?
Total number of sites as of now is 47, but most of the smaller sites we have closed and we declared before few days on the stock exchange also.
Right.
So I think about 6 to 8 sites presently we are operating on whatever labors available.
Sir, which are these sites like Surat? I understand Surat must be under the.
IIM, Nestle, Maruti, and Dahod, and Varanasi.
So Surat, IIM, Maruti, Dahod, and Varanasi.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything?
No, Maruti.
Surat, IIM, Maruti, Dahod, and Varanasi. Right, sir. So what is your observation now? How early you can start? End of June you can start other sites. What is your observation?
Presently the labors have started with coming back. So we probably hope that if they get the facility for transportation easily from the outstate, I think we should be through by June and or maybe first week of June.
Continuing to this question, what is the order backlog of these sites, 6 to 8 sites right now?
I think we have given you order backlog 3073 crores.
No, that is the total of these sites. What is the order backlog which is operational right now?
That figure I'm not having it.
Okay, sir. I will take it offline. Thank you and all the best.
It is there in the presentation. You can see means major high value projects we have already mentioned.
Okay, fine. I will check it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen,
time is over.
Yes, sir. Due to time constraint, that was the last question for today. I will now